Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Liana Vest, and today I wanted to share 10 steps on how you can actually plan a virtual Zoom wedding from home. So before I get started, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and also subscribe to our channel if you want to see more of our married life. And to give you a little bit of context, we had been engaged for about a year and a half, and we were supposed to get married in May of 2020 this year in Hawaii. I grew up in Hawaii, all of my family's there, and we had a dream location. We were really looking forward to our wedding for so long, we thought for sure it was going to happen. We were there just in February. I have my wedding dress there, all the things. We did all the food tasting, the cake tasting, so fellow brides this year, I feel your pain. I know how hard it was to go from planning the wedding of your dreams to having things shift. So whether you're choosing to, potentially do a virtual Zoom wedding, maybe you're still going to have it in person with some social distancing, or maybe you pushed it to next year. Basically what we landed on was doing a virtual Zoom wedding this year so that we could still get married and not let COVID ruin our marriage plans. But we're going to do a vow renewal and a reception next year, hopefully when everything is a little bit safer for everyone health-wise to actually travel again. But I know the planning process for weddings is already insane and feels crazy, so it's even worse during this time. But I will say that the moment we decided to do a virtual Zoom wedding, we had 2 weeks to make it happen, and we did it. So here are 10 steps that you can do to kind of follow what we did. Okay, so step 1 is figuring out the legal requirements in your county. So this is going to vary based on how tech savvy certain counties are, what their rules are, but make sure you understand what is legally required, and that you get any paperwork sent to you that needs to be filled out to legally get married. We were very lucky where we actually didn't need to go into our county clerk office. We did a Zoom meeting with them, they confirmed our identity, all of those things, and then sent us the marriage paperwork. So hopefully you're in some situation where you can do that too. Step 2 is choosing a date. So whether you're sticking with your original date, maybe you have another date in mind. We initially had our date at May 24th, and then because of COVID, we had pushed it to August, and then we weren't sure if that was still going to happen, so we went back to our original date of May 24th for our virtual wedding. So choose a date that is meaningful to you and something that is in line with when your paperwork is going to come in. Luckily, we were able to get the paperwork within a week, so yeah, make sure you choose your date. Step 3 is figuring out what you need help with. So first of all, most important person is going to be your officiant. So see if you have any friends or family members first that are already licensed to be an officiant. We had a friend that actually had recently became an ordained minister to be an officiant at someone else's wedding. So it was really easy to just ask him and see if he could marry us. If you don't have a friend or family member that's already licensed, you can find someone online local to you in your area and see if they can be in person with you there that day or if they can do it virtually. Another person to consider is if you will hire a photographer or videographer to be there in person with you at your virtual Zoom wedding if you want pictures and videos. Or if you want to do what we did, we already had this camera, we ordered a few tripods. I'll get into the technology a little bit later. So just determine if you're going to hire someone or if you're comfortable taking some of those photos and videos yourself. Another really big one for your wedding day is going to be your cake. Do you need help with this? Is this something that you're able to order from a bakery? During the time we were getting married, the bakeries were closed, so we decided to bake our own wedding cake and actually saved quite a bit of money because of it. Another important person for your wedding is going to be what I like to call a Zoom master or a co-host. So when you're holding your Zoom wedding, you're going to want someone that helps with the Zoom logistics so that you're not worried about the technology side on that day. So think of someone that can help you with that. I asked my maid of honor and she did an amazing job. And then lastly, another thing that came up that we didn't necessarily think about was, do you need a haircut? and Aaron desperately needed a haircut, so we ordered some tools online so that I could cut his hair. At the time, barber shops, hair salons weren't really open, so I was the one that cut his hair. Step 4 is to plan your wedding day timeline and talk to people that are going to be involved in the actual Zoom wedding. Here you want to think about what you want your wedding to include. For us, our timeline included a little welcome, the actual ceremony of getting married. We had a first dance. We did speeches and toasts by our parents. And then the maid of honor and the best man. And then we had a little thank you speech that we did. And then this wasn't planned, but we had a little dance section at the end, but more to come on that. So make sure you think about what time you want your wedding to be, how long you want it to be, kind of map out the length of each of those categories. And then make sure you talk to the people that are going to be involved in the wedding. Make sure your parents know that they're giving a speech, or make sure that you're still planning on your maid of honor or best man speaking. That way they can start getting their speeches ready. Okay, and then step 5, once you know when your wedding is going to be, what time it is, the date, and that you're having it on Zoom, you can start getting your invite ready. We just did it by email for the sake of time, and we have been using Zola for all of our wedding website, registry, all of that. So we sent out a bulk invite to all of our guest list and just gave them the update of when it would be, what time, and sent a Zoom link to them. Step 6 is extremely important. And this is where you need to figure out what you need to order. So just because you're doing a virtual Zoom wedding and it may be at home or your apartment, that doesn't mean that you can't decorate and make it special. So number 1 on our list was making sure that we ordered decorations and had those come in time. So we ordered all of our decorations through Amazon, mainly because we knew we could count on quick shipping, and it was so easy. So I'll link some of those in the description. But we ordered garland, flowers, candles, the cake topper, a little Mr. and Mrs. sign. We ordered a lot from Amazon, so that really helped make our day special. We also got champagne glasses, so it was really nice to just have those all come in really quickly. And then also going back to a cake, if you are ordering it and from a bakery, great, but if you're planning on doing it yourself, we definitely ordered a lot. We got a kind of cake stand that rotates. We got some tools to actually ice the cake. We wanted to do a fun tiered cake, so we actually got a little cake board and dowels to help the structure of the cake. And then we got some cake decorations and a cake topper. So all of that really helped pull the wedding day table together. And then girls, you may be doing your hair and makeup. I'm someone who doesn't typically do that very often, and I'm not super experienced with hair and makeup, so I watched a few tutorials. I just recorded one just if you want to see what I did. But I definitely needed to order some hair products. I didn't even have hairspray, so I ordered some hairspray, and then I ordered some makeup as well for the wedding day. So if you think about things like that, or nail polish, make sure you order those so you have all of that in time for your wedding day. And I actually did a few bridal trials on myself. So if you get them early enough, spend a few days leading up to your wedding just practicing your hair and makeup. Okay, step 7, I separated from what you need to order, but step 7 is figure out what technology you need. And I took this section out because you may already have some technology. So when you're thinking about a virtual Zoom wedding, you're going to want a laptop. It's really nice because it's going to help you be able to see who's actually at your wedding. You'll be able to see their faces with their cameras on, so you're going to want a laptop. Other things you're going to want a camera that you can record on if you don't have a photographer or videographer. So we actually had a camera already. We have the Canon 5D Mark IV. We had a nice lens already. We have our 50mm on there. And then we actually ordered a couple tripods and recorded from different angles on our phones during the ceremony. Well, if you're planning on making your own video, make sure you think about that. Do you want different angles that the wedding is recorded from, or are you okay just recording on Zoom? Another thing we did, since our officiant wasn't right there in person with us. He was with us virtually, but we actually bought a mount and we mounted our iPad up on the wall. So he was up there right behind us speaking, and it felt like he was right there with us. So if that's something you want to do, you can do that too. Very easy. I linked below in the description what mount we got and what technology we used. And once you have the day and time, you have all of the things ordered that you need to set up, decorate, and have your technology set up. The next step, step 8, is to plan out the Zoom logistics. So you're going to want to think about, number 1, what plan of Zoom do you have? There are different levels. The free version, I believe, cuts out at 45 minutes. So you're probably going to want to at least get a paid account. On Pro, you can have kind of unlimited meeting times, but you are capped at 100 unique users kind of logging into your meeting. So if you know that you're going to have over 100 individuals joining on separate accounts, then make sure you have a plan that's going to kind of accommodate all of your guests. Then you're going to want to edit your Zoom settings. So some common things that you'll want to do is probably mute people on entry so that anytime someone joins, they're not disrupting the ceremony or having a lot of background noise. Similar to that, I would make sure that you don't allow people to unmute themselves. Just because during the ceremony, if people start talking and that's what's recorded, you may not want them to have that much control. So again, that's kind of where the Zoom master is going to come in. Make sure that you don't have the sound of the chime that plays every single time someone enters the meeting or leaves the meeting. Again, that can be a little distracting and noise that you don't really want going on during your ceremony. Make sure you know how to record your Zoom meeting. It would be very, very sad if you had a whole wedding on Zoom and did not record it. So make sure you practice recording, you know where that is, and know where those recordings go on your computer in the cloud. Probably the most important thing about the Zoom logistics is making sure that you have, again, what I call a Zoom master, or someone that's going to co-host your wedding, Zoom wedding with you. This person is going to be extremely important because they're going to be the ones that will help spotlight the appropriate person. So for example, when our officiant welcomed all of our guests virtually, he was spotlighted so that in the recording he's showing big and he's also showing on the big screen for anyone that's attending your virtual wedding. They'll also want to, for example, spotlight you and your significant other during the wedding ceremony so that you guys are spotlighted for everyone, and that's the main video being recorded via Zoom. They're also going to be an important person to help mute and unmute speakers during toasts, and then also just be that person that's kind of taking care of all of the Zoom logistics during the day, so you're not stressed of how to mute someone or unmute. Give someone else that task and make sure that they're comfortable with all of those settings. Step 9 is to create a wedding playlist. I promise you this is going to be something that you will want to have to play as people are getting on the Zoom, so they're not just sitting awkwardly in silence. And then it's also a playlist that you can use towards the end, maybe during a first dance. So just make sure you have that music ready. We just used Spotify. We created a wedding playlist and unmuted ourselves and just played that playlist as people were logging on, and we were quiet ourselves. And step 10 is to have a tech rehearsal. Just like you would have a dress rehearsal for your wedding, you're gonna wanna have a tech rehearsal to make sure that things run smoothly. So make sure that all the important people are there that are gonna be part of your wedding ceremony. You're gonna want your officiant, you're gonna want your Zoom master, you're gonna wanna include anyone that's giving a toast, so your parent, your maid of honor, your best man. Make sure they're all in that tech rehearsal, and make sure you have everything set up like you would have it for your wedding day. So if you're planning on tripods and cameras and phones ready to record, having the laptop open on Zoom, having an iPad up, make sure you have all of that ready to go for the tech rehearsal. This is something we didn't quite have, but we ended up figuring it out. But make sure you have all that ready and then do a quick run through. So let the Zoom master get familiar with the people that are speaking, with who needs to be spotlighted at what time. They will really appreciate this, and it'll make the actual wedding day go way more smoothly. So definitely recommend having a tech rehearsal the day before, just so everyone's comfortable. Not everyone may have used Zoom before, so just make sure they're comfortable logging on, understanding spotlighting, muting and unmuting themselves, and that will make your day just that much better. Okay, and then I have a few bonus tips to make your day extra special. So number one, my maid of honor had the best idea to create a slideshow before the wedding. And she just used pictures from our engagement shoot, so a lot of really cute ones that we didn't get to really do anything with yet. So she put a really beautiful slideshow together, and what she did was she just shared her screen on Zoom and had that slideshow on repeat while guests were getting on. So we gave everyone about, 30 minutes to get on. We opened the Zoom very early because we knew that there were some people that hadn't used Zoom before and just wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable getting on. So while everyone was hopping on, early before the wedding, we didn't just want everyone sitting there, so she played that slideshow on repeat and we played our wedding playlist. So it was really nice for people to get on and have something to look at, have some music to listen to, kind of like if they were attending a wedding in person. Okay, other bonus tip, if you do not have a photographer or a videographer, use your camera and take some of those, typical wedding shots before the wedding. So if you're doing your own hair and makeup, get some shots of yourself, get some of, your significant other fixing his tie, doing the cufflinks, putting his watch on, things like that, because you can create your own wedding video. Just because you're doing it at home doesn't mean that you can't create a really special video to look back at. So that's what we did. You can check ours out if you haven't seen it yet, but that is something that is very easy to do, to just capture a few extra quick shots. Okay, and my last bonus tip, which made our wedding so much more fun than we ever could have planned on this virtual Zoom wedding. And what happened, we didn't plan this at all. I'm telling you, at all. We thought at the end of our wedding we'd say a quick thank you and people would probably jump off, but people had wanted to dance. They asked to dance and we weren't really expecting that. So number one, I'd create a fun playlist. So as much as these are cheesy, I promise you it's going to help you get people dancing in front of their cameras. So things like Cha-Cha Slide, Electric Slide, Cupid Shuffle, we did the Macarena, and then you can also use the Zoom chat and see if people have any song recommendations. So we had people requesting songs, we would pull them up on Spotify and just play them. And the best part, and this is the tip coming in, you can spotlight people and use it kind of like, instead of a kiss cam, that sort of idea where you spotlight someone and they have to do something, you can make it a dance cam. So what Erin and I did was we just saw, at first we started with people that were dancing and we would spotlight them, and it was really fun to see that. But then we started picking on people. So the people that we saw that were just sitting there that weren't dancing, we would spotlight them, and the best part was just seeing people's faces when they realized the spotlight was on them. Because you'd have someone that's, kind of sitting there looking around, and they look and they realize that they're spotlighted, they're like, and that was my favorite part, just watching people get caught in the act and start dancing. So that made our wedding day that much more fun. We actually had like a 45-minute dance party, so you can plan some of that in there, and just know that spotlighting people will make it that much more fun. So hopefully these tips were helpful, and if you have any questions about how we did things with Zoom, how we planned, how we decorated, feel free to drop that in the comments or reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect with you, give you tips, and just talk about it, because I know that it's a stressful planning process, and I am more than happy to help to make sure that you guys have a special day. Thanks for listening. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more about our wedding or our married life, please subscribe to the channel, and we will have more to come.